It's 100 degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your 100 degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your 100 degrees, shining bright. Set the stage, Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea. It's 100 degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your 100 degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your 100 degrees, shining bright. Set the stage, Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea.
What's going on, Diamond Gang? Did you miss me? I've been going for 2 days over there on Rumble trying to grow this platform, but we got a lot to get into. Right now, they are saying that it's close, they're coming close to a deal. Here's the thing, the Supreme Leader made a statement, and he basically said that the enriched uranium will not be removed at all. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into this weaponization fund. The Proud Boys is trying to get in on this. There's a lot of people trying to get in on this, and Congress is not having it. And here's the thing, it's coming from both parties. Okay. So it's not only just coming from the Democrats, it's coming from the Republicans as well. So they're not happy about this fund at all. Also, the officers that were hurt, okay, when they decided to uh, go crazy on Capitol Hill, they're starting to speak out. They feel like it's not fair that this fund exists. So, but the Supreme Leader told us that we're not moving anything about it or country. And right now, Iran is actually putting together, and I told you guys this the other day, with our allies as well as their own safe passage through the straits. And they're charging a toll. They're taking crypto. So they're putting that together now as we speak. So I'm not sure how we're close to a deal. Also, guys, Cuba. Cuba is definitely next, okay? Definitely next. So I'm just waiting for this video to upload. I apologize, guys. It's taking a little longer to upload before we get started. But we got so much. Don't you guys know, in the beginning, we were talking as regime change. They wanted regime change. Come to find out, Israel and us, the U.S., was looking for the former president of Iran. He was president, and please excuse me, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but they were looking for him. He was the president in 2005 to 2013 to basically take over. Okay. And this man was literally on home confinement. Do you know that we struck his quarters where he lived in order for him to get away? And he disappeared. They don't know if if he's gone or if he's here. But Trump and Netanyahu they put this plan together. Now, this guy who was the president of Iran, he's very aggressive, hardline, and he was a strong supporter of Iran's nuclear program. So I don't know why they thought that was going to work. That was a mess. So we got a lot to get into. A lot. All right, it's saying I got about 3 more minutes, guys. 3 more minutes, and I'll pull the video up. So he was a very aggressive guy, but Cuba threatened us as well the other day. But it looks like we're going to help them. They need help desperately, even though we're not done with what we have going on in Iran. We are making plans right now for Cuba. So get ready this week, the rest of this week, and potentially the beginning of next week. It's going to be a lot going on, a lot of action going on. So, but they're not willing, Iran is not willing to give up the straits, and they are not willing to give up the enriched uranium. So Trump is going to have to make a move. I don't think that he's going to be able to taco out this time around. because they are literally putting the plans through and they are getting ships through the strait. Guess what? You got to go. Let me tell you guys something. These are the rules. Okay. You don't have to agree with anything that I am saying. You are entitled to your opinion. All of disrespectful. My moderators will remove you out of the chat. You can say what you want to say, misspell the cuss words, and don't disrespect my moderators or any of my supporters. That's it. That's all. That's all I asked. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying, and you're entitled to your own opinion. Okay, so this is a safe space for you to feel however you want to feel. You just can't be disrespectful. As adults, we should be able to go back and forth and sometimes agree to disagree. If not, you got to go. You got to go. It's just that simple. Exactly. All opinions are welcomed in this live stream. And please be respectful to the host, mods, and others in the chat. Another thing, this channel is not monetized. All I'm asking for is a like. Excuse me. It is free. It helps keep me in the algorithm. That's it. That's all. It takes time sometimes for me to put these videos together to present them to you and to tell you what I see from my perspective and point of view. And like I said, again, you're entitled to have your opinions. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my screen up. One moment. Let me get the video up and we can get into some things. Please subscribe to the channel. I am now on Rumble. And it's basically the same. However, I do not give extensive live streams like I do over here on Rumble, but I cover celebrity gossip as well as war updates. Okay. And the channel name over on Rumble is The Great Spills the Tea. Okay. So if you guys have a Rumble, please, 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 please subscribe or follow me on Rumble. Hold on, guys. Let me get this video up for you so we could get into it. Give me 1 second. Oh, saying almost done. Give me a few moments, guys. Okay, here we go. It's up. All right. We're going to get into some things. There's a lot going on. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure I saved it. Okay, cool. It's saved. Let me make my screen big so you guys can see me. Let me add it to the stage. Hold on, guys. For some reason. Okay, it should come up. It's coming up now. I don't know why it's moving slow. I can't stand StreamYard at times. Here we go. Oh, thanks, guys, for your patience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's get into it.
They're tired of this. This should have happened for 47 years. Somebody should have done something.
Listen, Diamond Gang, he's been saying this since the start. They want to make a deal so bad, so quickly. That is simply not the case, because this would have been done and over with a long time ago.
About it, and it's going to happen, and it's going to happen fast, and you're going to see oil prices plummet. They're going to come down. There's so much oil out there. They're going to come plummeting down. But even with that, the stock market's at an all-time high.
Remember when Donald Trump said that a whole civilization will die tonight?
Listen, NATO, when he said that, had no idea what he was going to do. So they honestly believed that he was going to actually act on what he said.
Well, apparently Europe thought that he may use a nuclear weapon on Iran. Europe reached out to the State Department to confirm that he wouldn't. They got no response. The State Department had no idea what he meant or what he would do. That's according to new reporting from Reuters, which has shown a behind-the-scenes look into the diplomacy for Donald Trump and the way he and his administration conducts diplomacy. European allies wanted assurances that the United States would not use a nuclear weapon in Iran to kill off an entire civilization. And yet, the State Department either had...
Let me tell you something, guys. When this is all said and done, we will have a nasty stain on us as a country. We will be alienated, okay? I've said this time and time again. Right now, the foreign prime minister of Iran met with over 10 separate leaders in different countries, okay? Some of them were their allies, and some of those countries were our allies, okay? We will not have anyone. And that he met with them so that they are able to come together and come to a resolution to get this oil or whatever it may be through the straits. Let's go.
No idea what Trump was going to do or refused to tell Europe what Trump was going to do. If that doesn't tell you where we are right now, I don't know what else would. And it's a constant degradation of America's allyships with Europe and with Western nations as Trump continues to essentially isolate America from the rest of the world. I'll have more.
That part, he is isolating us, whether y'all want to realize it or not. When this is all said and done, our allies will not deal with us. And if and when they do, it's going to take a while. Okay? He literally bullied NATO, bullied them. You made the decision. The straits was open. Business was fine until you decided to go to war. But let's go, Diamond Gang.
Updates for you soon, but it's pretty revealing. Spread the word. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Trump just told reporters that he is polling at 99% in Israel and that he may go run for the prime minister of Israel next. He actually said this. This is not a joke, unfortunately.
Which we know that is not the case. But here he is saying it. Let's go.
To Prime Minister Netanyahu about Iran and how long to hold off on strike.
He's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do.
That part, he's fine. He will do whatever I want him to do. In my opinion, that's not the case as well. He talked President Trump into this mess. He's been trying for many past administrations. And what? Trump was gullible enough to do it. When you guys hear this idiotic plan that they came up with for regime change, you're not going to believe it. With this former president of Iran.
Very, very good man. He'll do whatever I want him to do, and he's a great guy. To me, he's a great guy. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister.
And he's not a good guy. I told you guys this 1,000 times. There is a second arrest warrant out for Benjamin Netanyahu for war crimes. He is not very liked. He's not a good guy.
He's not treated right in Israel, in my opinion. I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister. So maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister.
What they did to Massey was unbelievable. Israel spent millions, and we'll get into that as well.
Poll this morning, I'm 99%, so that's good. But no, he's a wartime prime minister, and I just don't think they treat him well.
Mr. President, what do you consider
I think we have a president over there that treats him very poorly.
You're on the same page with him on Iran?
Yeah.
Iran? It's a limited deal just for a longer ceasefire.
So he claims that he's in no hurry to make this deal, but he threatens them on a regular to unalive a whole entire civilization. But let's go.
We'd have to open the strait. That would open immediately.
Listen, they are moving around us. Right now, they are putting in place with other countries safe passage through the straits. They are setting it up. Tolls, and they are taking crypto.
So we're going to give this one shot. I'm in no hurry. You know, everyone think, oh, the midterms, I'm in a hurry. I'm in no hurry. Ideally, I'd like to see few people killed as opposed to a lot. We can do it either way, but I'd like to see few people killed. I just wonder whether or not they have the good of the people, because some of the things they're doing to me means they don't have the good of the people, and they have to have the good of the people. There's a lot of anger now in Iran because people are living so badly.
Again, their supreme leader spoke out today and said there will be no transfer of the enriched uranium. None. So I'm just wondering, we have not achieved not one of our goals, not the regime change. Now the straits is closed. Now they're completely controlling the straits and said that they will long after this.
There's a lot of foment that we haven't seen before so much, and we'll see what happens.
Is it taking longer than you expected it would to make a deal with Iran?
Well, let's put it this way. You were in Vietnam 19 years, right? You were in...
Here he goes, naming off different wars in a time frame. Here, when he announced this was supposed to be a 4 to 6 week excursion. That's it. That's all. He thought that he was going to go in like he did Venezuela, and it did not happen like that. I don't know why he thought regime change was going to happen in 4 to 6 weeks.
You were in Afghanistan and these other places 10 years. You were in Iraq. How long were you in Iraq? 12 years. You were in Korea for 7 years. World War II is different. That was 4 years. I'm in for 3 months.
Right, you're in for 3 months for something you said would be 4 to 6 weeks.
And much of it's been ceasefire, so. And you know what? You lost hundreds of thousands of soldiers in these various wars. In 2 wars, Venezuela, where we lost nobody, and here, we lost 13 people. Now, 13 people is 13 too much, but we lost 13 people. In other wars, you lost hundreds of thousands of people.
A quick update on the situation with Iran. Today, Iran's parliament speaker and one of the country's top negotiators, Mohammad Khalibaf.
Again, they threatened us. And then the supreme leader said, no, they're not moving anything. Let's go.
Spoke about the current state of play, saying that Iranian armed forces used the ceasefire to rebuild military capabilities. His comments were echoed.
That right there. So their stockpile is insane right now. During this entire time, they were rebuilding drones, missiles. Let's go.
By Iran's foreign minister, who also spoke today from the capital of Tehran, saying that they are pursuing a diplomatic path, but with strength, the foreign minister says, the same strength with which the armed forces prepare them.
Right now, they are arming their civilians with weapons, children with weapons.
Themselves in defense of the country. This comes as President Trump spoke earlier today from a graduation ceremony, saying that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. He said that the Iranians want to make a deal badly, and went on to say that
there are contradicting statements. That's not what they're saying at all. I have a clip in here of a man, of a civilian, who said that they are waiting. They want this to be done and over with. They will work with Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE on their own. They will negotiate. They want us out of there so that they can do what they need to do for their country and surrounding countries. Basically telling us we need to mind our damn business.
We'll have to wait and see what is going to happen as it relates to the possibility of diplomacy versus military action. So both the Israeli and U.S. militaries remain on high alert in the region.
Iran is now cementing its control over the Strait of Hormuz.
Get this, because they are cementing their control over the straits. It's already in effect.
And it's letting Russian and Chinese boats through after it used the ceasefire to mine the strait even more heavily. Trump's got no plan on how to open the strait because he thought this would be Venezuela. New reporting from the New York Times says that the plan was to try to Maduro Iran by reinstalling Ahmadinejad as president after killing the Ayatollah. It also...
That's who they want, or they planned on him taking over. They don't even know where this man is.
The war started, Israel bombed his house. While Ahmadinejad has been seen since the strike, even the U.S. doesn't know if he's alive, he's clearly not in charge, and now Iran seems to be cementing permanent...
They purposely, us in Israel, bombed this man's home to get him off of home confinement. And now he's nowhere to be found. He skipped out. About twice. Okay? And they trusted him because after he left office in 2013, he started speaking negatively about Iran. But let me tell you something. He's even more hardline. He believes in the enrichment programs. I don't know what Netanyahu and Trump was thinking about. But let's go.
Control over the strait. Now, the U.S. in theory could force the strait open if it committed real military sources, but Donald Trump is scared to do it. The U.S. could also just do the Trump special and sign some fake...
This is why they do not bring up the regime change anymore, because their plan failed miserably.
Peace agreement that says that they won, but gives Iran everything they want and go home. But doing that, it's essentially surrendering to Iran and gives them ultimate political control over the U.S. because if Iran controls the flow of oil, they can just shut it down whenever we do something they don't like. And this also doesn't satisfy the needs or the wants of the Republican Congress or one of their biggest constituents, Israel. And without their approval, Trump's in big political trouble. So we currently exist in Schrodinger's war, a war that we've won 10 times, but also a war that's paused, but also a war that's still ongoing. And Trump's just hoping that you're going to get bored enough to stop following along, but unfortunately, he can't pay for gas with attention yet. And so for now, follow to stay in the loop.
There's this war.
See, you said you heard he's in a coma. I didn't hear that. But let's go. Now, this is the man, okay? They are an Iranian man that states that he wants America to attack again. This is how confident they are. Let's go.
Going on. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, first of all, I think it's a complete aggression because we want to be like, how do you say it? We want to be free from other countries. We want to decide by ourselves. But other countries.
So he said they want to decide by themselves what to do with their country and surrounding countries, allies and foes.
Don't like that. they want to pressure us into something, and then, well, we won't accept that at all.
Yeah. And what's the feeling in America? You know, someone told me today that there was a lot of good feeling for America, but now it's all changed, obviously.
I don't think it was like, maybe part of the population was like that, but we have a like very long history with America. Yeah. That's our problem.
But someone was saying that maybe they lost the good feeling.
Yeah, but some of it, among some of the population, is true.
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, it wasn't like that at all. Because we always knew how America felt like, but they wouldn't show it to us like this, that they're showing it now.
Yeah. And what's the general feeling on the streets of Tehran right now?
I think everyone is waiting for them.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing.
They said everyone is waiting for them.
Everyone is waiting.
What do you think is going to happen?
Personally, I really like them to attack us again.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really waiting for it.
What's interesting, you seem like such a good vibes guy. Gentle.
So they have dropped more mines in the straits. They have built missiles. They have built drones. They, replenished their stockpile.
giant. You have your kids here.
Yeah, because it was too short. You know, we couldn't reach what we wanted. That's the problem.
So you want them to attack?
Yes,
so that you can. Yeah.
We could finish the job.
And what is finishing the job?
Well, the most.
Diamond Gang, please, and thank you. Can you please hit the like? It helps keep me in the algorithm. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned. Thank you so much.
I think the important thing is that they leave this region.
Yeah.
They completely leave this region, and then we can decide with our neighbors ourselves. We can decide with Saudi Arabia.
So he said we can decide with our neighbors ourselves. They want us up out of there.
What we want to do with Emirates, Oman, Qatar. We can talk with them like brothers.
Yeah.
But the Americans are here, and then they're trying to meddle in everything, and then they want to decide what to do.
Yeah.
We want to meddle in everything and decide what to do, is what he's saying, America.
But they're like 12,000 kilometers over there.
And do you think that they will attack again, or do you think that they'll find a solution? Because I think in the news, you can tell me if I'm wrong, that on today is Wednesday, they said Monday they wanted to attack, but the Arab country said, don't please. We're going to negotiate.
But the Washington Post was saying that the Arabs didn't know it at all.
Really?
Yeah, Washington Post wrote something.
That part, the Arabs did not know. The countries that President Trump claims that begged him to hold off on these strikes claim they never made that call.
They didn't know anything at all. I think they're playing now. I don't know what they're doing.
Really?
In a bombshell new report from the New York Times, U.S. and Israeli officials apparently explored whether former...
Now we're getting ready to get into Iran's former president and how they planned on using him to replace the leader of Iran.
Hardline Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad could become a transitional leader in Iran if the current regime collapsed. Yes, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the same Ahmadinejad.
Listen to this man's past. They came up with this idea. Netanyahu and Trump thought that this guy was the guy.
Ahmadinejad, who became the international face of Iran's anti-Western hardline movement, the same Ahmadinejad who escalated Iran's nuclear crisis, and the very same Ahmadinejad who threatened to wipe Israel off the map. Now, this idea appears to have come from a model the Trump administration thought had already worked somewhere else, Venezuela. You may remember President Trump ordered a U.S.-backed transition where
So again, and I said this again, he thought this was going to be as easy as Venezuela. So he used the same plan.
Nicolas Maduro was arrested and removed, but the Venezuelan state itself survived. And Delcy Rodriguez, a longtime regime insider, became the acceptable face of that transition. So in part of the establishment to keep the system intact, but pragmatic enough to stabilize the country and be willing to cut a deal with the West. And somehow, some U.S. and Israeli planners appear to have landed on Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. But selecting him may not be as far-fetched as it sounds. For years after leaving office, he had been calling out Iran's clerical establishment and has been vocally critical of their policies, leaving the former president politically sidelined and blocked from running in any future elections. But here's where things get even more complicated. Early on in the U.S.-Israel war in Iran, an Israeli airstrike hit near Ahmadinejad's home. Now, according to
They claim purposely.
U.S. officials in the Times is reporting the strike may actually have been intended to free him from what appeared to be a form of house arrest by killing the IRG.
Do you guys hear this? This is our plan. This was Trump's and Netanyahu's plan. They struck his house to free him from house arrest and wanted him to be the new supreme leader. If this is not idiotic, I don't know what is. This was their plan. Let's go.
Guards surrounding him. Now, some initial rumors claimed he'd been killed, but then...
This man believes in the nuclear program. Okay? This man is even more hardline. Make this make sense because it don't. But let's go. That's why this plan failed, and that's why you don't hear them bring up nothing about regime change. This man dipped out on them, on Netanyahu and Trump. And to this day, they don't know if he's alive or not.
Conflicting reports emerged saying he'd survived. For now, nobody, at least publicly, seems to know exactly where he is. Whatever the case, let's be clear, Iran is not Venezuela, and many analysts say the idea Ahmadinejad could be installed as ruler fundamentally misunderstands modern Iranian society. While he remains popular in some quarters, according to research from the Atlantic Council, younger Iranians are deeply disconnected from both the Islamic Republic and the old revolutionary generation that produced figures like Ahmadinejad. So for millions of Iranians, replacing one revolutionary insider with another, even one disliked by the old guard, wouldn't feel like transition. It would feel like recycling the regime.
Recycling the regime. This was their master plan. This is why we are trapped right now. Nothing strategic about this plan. Nothing. Diamond Gang, can you guys please, I got 16 likes. 144 in the building. Please and thank you. Can you please hit the like? Hit the like. It helps keep me in the algorithm. Thank you.
And maybe that's the real story here, that in trying to engineer an Iranian version of Venezuela, Washington and Israel may have revealed just how uncertain and improvised their early post-regime plans really were.
So it has finally been revealed who the U.S. and Israel planned to install as the new leader of Iran in their failed regime change attempt. And it's not Reza Pahlavi. In fact, the entire plot is 10 times weirder. The U.S. and Israel went to war against Iran entirely to install this man as the new leader, the former president Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. This man was once one of the most aggressive.
Like, this does not make sense.
Anti-Western Iranian leaders. So why would they want to install him now? Ahmadinejad was president of Iran from 2005 to 2013, and during that time, he was known to be a strong supporter of Iran's nuclear program. He was very critical of the United States. He cracked down on internal dissent.
So they just bombed his home, got him free off of home confinement, only for him not to be found. Not to be found. You don't hear anything about regime change anymore. And this is why.
He called for Israel to be wiped off the map. But after the end of his term in 2013, something shifted, and he found himself increasingly at odds with Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He often clashed.
So because he was at odds with them, you felt like he was the choice? A good choice?
With the government, and rumors swirled about foreign loyalties. And by 2019, he was fully publicly praising Donald Trump, something that made him persona non grata in Iran. Especially
he got what he wanted. He's off of house arrest, freed, and could be possibly living his best life. Plan failed.
Considering shortly thereafter, Donald Trump ordered the assassination of General Qasem Soleimani in the beginnings of 2020. So a lot of concerns began to pop up about his connection with foreign contacts. And Iranian authorities became very suspicious of his foreign travel. He traveled to nations like Hungary in 2024, which led to a lot of concern because of Hungary's relationship with Israel. And in the years leading up to this current war, many of his assistants were also arrested on suspicion of disloyalty, colluding with foreign actors. And then Mahmoud Ahmadinejad himself was placed under a de facto house arrest. He was under surveillance, his movements were restricted, and he was blocked from politically organizing. And it turns out Iran's suspicions were correct because the U.S. bombed the country to get him out of his house arrest. It was a
Do you guys hear this? What in the James Bond secret Mission Impossible is going on? This is crazy. But this was their plan.
Effectively a prison break. But the entire thing turned out to be a mess, and he's now missing. On the very first day of the war, one of the first strikes they did, the U.S. and Israel bombed his home, effectively releasing him from house arrest, but they injured him in the process. Like, truly, how are you going to injure your own guy? And he did survive. He walked away from the injury. But apparently, after that strike, he became so disillusioned with the regime change plan that he abandoned it altogether.
So he said, no, thank you. So they did all of this. Us in Israel. This is insane. This is why you don't hear them bring up regime change anymore. That is done.
And they haven't been able to locate him since. They started an entire war, all for nothing, because in the end, he abandoned them anyway.
It is shocking, Mark. I was shocked when I read this. Why did they think Ahmadinejad was suddenly somebody that they could work with?
Apparently, I'm not the only one that thinks that this plan was ridiculous, but let's go.
Well, we recall in the first couple days after the war, President Trump indicated that what they really needed was someone from the inside who could take over, who could kind of run the machinery of government, and not someone who they would just parachute in from the outside, because it's unclear whether that person would be accepted. It's still unclear.
Here's the thing. If he was speaking out and against them, why would they think he would be accepted?
Why this mostly has started out as an Israeli plan, designated Ahmadinejad as that.
It started out as an Israeli plan. Excuse me. Once again, we pledge allegiance to Israel. So it started out with Netanyahu, just like Netanyahu came up with this big plan to go to war. They're not going to fight back. The regime is going to fall quickly. And it's just going to be just as easy as that. He tried to sell this same plan to multiple presidents. Failed.
Person, because obviously, as you just laid out his history, this hardline former leader, his denial of the Holocaust, his calls for wiping Israel off the map, not necessarily the person you would think would be the natural person to be installed by the Israelis in the United States. And of course, the next question being, how would he be accepted by the people of Iran? So, I mean, there's still a lot of questions about how this came about, but clearly this shows, it's further evidence that the Trump administration and the Israelis did this war very much for regime change, right? It wasn't.
Y'all hear that? Won't be no regime change.
Just to, hit the nuclear sites, etc. It was to change the government into a more pliable one for them.
So let's take it back, okay? Regime change. No regime change will take place within no 4 to 6 weeks of a so-called excursion, okay? Those are always forever wars. Number 2, you get this guy who's literally a criminal on house arrest, bomb his home, and he flakes out. This is why we are in the mess that we are in now, okay? 2 different objectives. Israel has theirs, and supposedly we have ours. No backup plan, nothing strategic, just all over the place.
This is breaking news. President Trump just said the negotiations with Iran are in their final stages. See what happens. Either have a deal or we're going to have to do some things that are a little bit nasty, but hopefully that won't happen. Follow for the latest breaking updates out of the Middle East.
We have some big news right now.
Veterans, they actually protested outside of the White House, and they felt like nobody knows war like they do. I had to bring this piece. Very proud. And I just thought this was a good thing.
From across the country flew in today to protest in front of the White House against Donald Trump's war in Iran. There have plenty of veterans, several dozen came out in front of the White House, and their message today was simple. Veterans know the cost of war more than anyone else. And you can see them in front of the White House, and you can see the bulletin board as well. But that's not all. Today, this is what senators are facing as they go and vote, and members of Congress. all of their names and the price of gas in their district. Another clear reminder of the cost of war impacting everyday Americans. As always, spread the word. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
It is now day 82 of the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran.
So we're just going to get a roundup of the last 24 hours, and then we'll go further into the messy race in Israel spending millions of dollars for the outcome.
Here's a roundup of what happened in the past 24 hours. President Trump said today that the U.S. is in the final stages of talks facilitated by Pakistan, but he's in no hurry to reach a final deal with Iran. This comes just a day after Trump warned that the U.S. may strike Iran even harder by early next week and gave Iran a 2 to 3 day window to accept Washington's terms. In response, Iran's IRGC warned today that any resumption of hostilities will trigger the opening of unprecedented military fronts and devastating surprises for Washington. Senior commanders, including Major General Ali Abdullahi, stated the military is stronger than before and waiting with hands on the trigger to...
Again, they spent this time of this ceasefire restocking.
Repel any attacks. At the same time, Vice President J.D. Vance and other U.S. officials have cited significant progress in the Iran talks, moderated by Pakistan.
I'm going to say this again. The U.S. sent them a revised list. They're looking over it, but it's minimum changes on both sides. Minimum.
According to Iran's Tasnim news agency, Iran is currently reviewing an updated proposal from the U.S., but has not yet responded. This comes as Pakistani Interior Minister Mohsen Naqvi traveled to Tehran today to hold talks with senior Iranian officials in a rapid succession of high-level meetings aimed at securing an agreement.
Really quick, guys, the last time I was live, remember I told you guys, because Trump put off the weapons package I'm so tired. I did a live on Rumble. So he put a weapons package together for Taiwan, but he held it off once he met with China. Gang, he made a statement today, and it wasn't a good one, but we'll get into that too. I told you guys, he will have to speak to them sooner or later.
Agreement between Iran and the U.S. to end the war. The U.S. Central Command reported it has now redirected a total of 90 commercial vessels and disabled 4 others since the U.S. blockade began in April. This is while Iran's IRGC Navy announced today that 26 vessels transited the Strait of Hormuz over the past 24 hours.
So they said they put 26 vessels through in the last 24 hours. Right before Trump went to China, China sent 6 tankers through. So it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Under its cooperation and protection. The IRGC Navy added that maritime traffic through the strait is currently taking place only.
That's it right there. Maritime traffic. That is what they set up. They're taking crypto for safe passage. They set this up with other countries. Some of them are our allies. But let's go.
After obtaining the necessary permits and in full coordination with its naval forces. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes targeted several towns in southern Lebanon today, with at least 19 deaths reported by Lebanon's health ministry, including 4 women and 3 children. Hezbollah retaliated with 14 separate operations targeting Israeli troop gatherings and armored vehicles.
The ceasefire between those two, Israel and Hezbollah, it never stopped. It never started. There was never a ceasefire.
The Israeli military confirmed that the commander of the 401st Brigade was severely injured in southern Lebanon, and 3 soldiers were wounded in a drone attack. Israel's public broadcaster KAN published a report yesterday revealing that Hezbollah's fiber optic guided FPV drones have severely limited the Israeli army's freedom of movement, affecting between 70 and 80% of planned military operations in southern Lebanon.
Breaking news as U.S. intelligence has told CNN.
Again, we're going to get into them rebuilding their stockpile. So it's been, 42, 43 days since the ceasefire. This is what Iran has been doing, gang.
CNN that Iran is rebuilding its military industrial base much faster than anticipated. They already are starting drone production again. They are rebuilding missiles and missile sites and launchers, and they are going to have this done much, much faster than anyone had expected. Trump's ceasefire has given them the time to rebuild all of their military capabilities that were degraded by the airstrikes the U.S. and Israel did. They are now going to be capable again from many of these locations. A U.S. official told CNN.
And again, remember, they hit 16 U.S. bases with precision. With precision. And they tried to hide those damages in what happened from us. Let's go.
That the Iranians have exceeded all timelines the IC had for reconstitution. Guys, this is serious. This means Iran remains a significant threat to the Middle East. And now they're telling Trump that they are not going to give up.
And those countries over there will be the first to be hit. Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and on and on. They will be hit. Any U.S. bases left will be hit.
Their enriched uranium. This comes after Trump said he was about an hour away from authorizing new strikes against Iran, which would have restarted the war. And now he's giving more time for peace talks to happen. There's no defined timeline of how much longer he is going to give.
I'm still wondering what is he going to do around this war power resolution. He claims that he was thinking of renaming these operations.
Give them. But one thing is certain now, if the fighting resumes, Iran is very much capable of striking all these other countries within the Middle East. And there is a lot at stake here, guys. So keep checking back for updates. Follow along.
Yeah, a lot. Power plants, infrastructure. Like this is, and I showed you guys a video the other day. It's going to be crazy.
On for more, share this, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Hey, this is breaking news. Iran's supreme leader has issued a directive that Iran's near weapons grade uranium should not be sent abroad. That matters.
There it is, guys. I told you. He said no, it will not be removed.
Because removing or exporting that uranium is one of the key U.S. demands in the talks. If Iran does not move on this issue, it could make it very difficult to make a deal.
Hey guys, a major development this morning. Reuters reports Iran's Supreme Leader Mustafa Khamenei has issued a directive not to export Iran's already highly enriched uranium. This is a red line for the United States, and we will wait to see how.
I'm going to tell you right now, they put together a deal. And I said this time and time again, I guarantee you it will mock Obama's, and they will give them more. They will lift the sanctions, and they will release more of their frozen assets. And then what he's going to do is come back and sell it as a win. You watch.
U.S. officials respond. It comes as Iran's foreign ministry says the country is reviewing a new U.S. proposal, and Pakistan's interior minister traveled to Tehran for direct talks aimed at moving a possible agreement forward. Iran's foreign minister spoke yesterday with a warning for the United States.
Should it become necessary, should the interests of the state dictate that we prepare ourselves in the field of diplomacy, of discussion, of negotiation, then we will prepare ourselves. But with strength, the same strength with which the armed forces prepare themselves in defense.
Diamond Gang, I got over 100 people in the room with 25 likes. Please and thank you. Can you please hit the like? It helps keeps me in the algorithm. Please and thank you. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned. But I need to get them likes up, please, guys.
Of the country.
President Trump says he's in no hurry to make a deal since the U.S. naval blockade is causing significant economic damage to Iran and weakening the regime. He indicated the war could resume quickly if Iran doesn't respond well.
We're all ready to go.
He's saying that, but they just said they're controlling the straits and they're not giving up the uranium. So
We have to get the right answers. We're dealing with some people, and we're dealing, actually, I must tell you, we're dealing with some very good people. We're dealing with people that are, I think, far more reasonable than the people that are really no longer with us.
With a focus on Iran's nuclear program and the Strait of Hormuz, the Islamic Republic recently created what they call the Persian Gulf Strait Authority to force vessels to coordinate directly with Iran.
Again, here it is. And clear, they are going through the straits. They're going around us
in order to pass through the strait. But today, the question is about Iran's highly enriched uranium. And remember, to understand the process here.
So now the straits is not a big deal in them getting vessels through. But they say that we are hurting them economically. Meanwhile, they're crushing the entire world globally.
You have uranium ore that is mined from the ground. It's turned into yellow cake through a chemical reaction and then into hexafluoride gas. And they spin that gas very rapidly in centrifuges with the heavier part.
Every day it's a different goalpost. So today is we got to get that uranium. The other day we got to get the straits open.
Particles going to the outside and the lighter ones stay on the inside. And this is how they increase the purity. They repeat this process over and over. Iran has already done this to 60% purity. And the concern here for the United States and President Trump is that they're just days away from creating weapons grade material that could be used in a nuclear bomb. Guys?
Yeah, and that's the problem, Trey. If they're not going to put the weaponized, the uranium, enriched uranium on the table, there's nothing to talk about. So, and the Supreme Leader doesn't seem to care. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Of course, that's coming from Fox News. They seem pretty upset.
Joining us and with that breaking information. I mean,
it's now being reported that Iran's new supreme leader has issued an order saying that all of the enriched uranium they have must stay in the country. At the same time, the U.S. has assured Israel that any deal with Iran would include the full removal of enriched uranium from their country. But reports from Reuters citing...
So it definitely sounds like it's going to be an escalation. There's no other way out.
Senior Iranian officials say the supreme leader has directed his people to not accept any deal that would allow Iran's enriched uranium to leave the country. At the same time, Pakistan's principal decision maker is set to visit Iran tomorrow, and Donald Trump says time is running out to make a deal.
I guarantee you, they are going to allow them one nuclear program just like Obama did. This is crazy. All of this, for what? For what?
Additionally, U.S. intelligence indicates Iran has restarted drone production and is rebuilding key military capabilities faster than expected. Officials believe Iran could restore its drone attack capability within 6 months, and intelligence assessments also indicate much of Iran's missile and drone infrastructure survived the war. And last night, there was large-scale AIS and aircraft transponder interference.
Remember, he said he obliterated. He got rid of most of their... That did not happen, as you can see. They're rebuilding. It was not damaged.
Interference reported in the Persian Gulf, northwest of Dubai. Observers note that similar electronic disruption patterns have occurred during periods of heightened military tension.
There's one follow-up on that. How do you want things to end up with the Strait of Hormuz? Would you like that to happen?
Well, we want it open. We want it free. We don't want tolls. It's international.
They're doing it. They're charging tolls.
International waterway. They're not charging tolls. Right now, they are losing $500 million a day is what it's projected. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of money.
In the last 24 hours, 26 ships has sailed through or came through. Right before he went to China, 6 tankers got through from China.
But whether it's 500 or 200 or 300, they're losing a lot of money. There hasn't been a ship that's been able to get through without our approval. And the Navy...
He keeps saying that like they're just affected. Everyone is affected globally.
He has done an amazing job. And no ship is going to Iran, as you know. No ship is going to, or out of Iran without our approval.
And they keep their highly enriched uranium.
So now he's saying that they're giving approval to where when this first began, and the reason why we put the blockade up was so that nothing could get through. You guys see what's going on?
No, we get the highly enriched. We will get it. We don't need it. We don't want it. We'll probably destroy it after we get it, but we're not going to let them have it. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, guys.
But my problem with the deal here is that we leave Iran bruised but intact. And they'll walk away from here citing and convincing themselves that they got the United States to back down. And as a result of that, we extend a lifeline to the regime for sure, for them to do what? To recover. And in the deal, the unfrozen assets.
That is exactly what they did, recovered.
Are about 100 billion. It's likely we're going to take some part of that and give that to them up front and also reduce some of the sanctions. And certainly we're going to monitor their behavior. But nonetheless, it is a lifeline to the regime that extends them for years to come. The next administration is going to wind up having to deal with them. That's not where we started. Remember, we started to weaken this regime, to devastate and take away their capabilities to be a predator in the region, support the proxies for sure, and obviously not have any nuclear capability whatsoever.
So today, Reuters reported that Iran's foreign minister, Mojtaba Khamenei, is ordering a directive not to export Iran's highly enriched uranium. The White House is pushing back on that report, saying that it's not true. It comes as Iran's foreign ministry says they are reviewing.
You hear that? So now we're saying, oh, no, that's not true. They didn't say that.
A new U.S. proposal, and Pakistan sent their interior minister to Tehran to see if he could help get a deal across the finish line. The region remains on high alert for the possibility that the war resumes in the days ahead, and President Trump has indicated he is only willing to wait a couple of days, possibly into next.
What y'all got? What you think? You think he's going to taco out? Do you guys think he's going to taco out? Put a 1 in the chat if you think he's going to taco out. Put a 2 if you think this time this is it. I need to see who believes this is it. 1 for taco, 2 for this is it. We're going to strike. We're going to see.
Next week to see if the Iranians are willing to make a good faith deal.
If we don't get the right answers, it goes very quickly. We're all ready to go. We have to get the right answers.
Remember, when it comes to uranium enrichment,
y'all said taco. Okay, Stefan said 2, this is it. Mitch, he going taco. Listen, gang, it cannot keep going on like this. It cannot. Everybody said taco. Taco, full of it. All right, let's go.
Process here is quite lengthy, and the Iranians have been perfecting this process for a number of decades. And right now, the Iranians say they have around 1,000 pounds of highly enriched uranium at 60% purity. But to go from 60% to weapons grade 90% is just a
Well, I'm going to say this. Thank you, Stefan, for being honest.
Matter of days. And that is the concern as it relates to Iran's pursuit of nuclear material that U.S. officials say they are intending to use for a nuclear weapon. And so all of this is being discussed at the negotiating table as the region waits to see if the Middle East is headed toward more diplomacy or toward war.
The Vice President mentioned the other day there would be accommodations, they were willing to make accommodations with the Iranian deal. Could you kind of expand on those possible accommodations? Does that include?
When you say combination of what?
Let me ask you this. If there is a deal put in place, who believes that it will mock Obama's? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that the deal will. Put a 2 in the chat. I honestly, I believe that. I believe that we're going to allow them to have 1 nuclear program. We will get some of the uranium, but it won't be all of it. I truly believe that. Yeah, Marie, I think. I do. I really believe that. It's going to mock Obama's deal, and they're going to have sanctions lifted, and they will have more of their frozen assets released to them. Yep, Mitch. It's going down. And that's horrible because you tore up the deal. You pulled the people only to what? Mimic the same deal. Yep, John. It's going to... What else does he have? I still cannot believe they blew that man's house up, tried to get him out of there and freed off a house arrest to have him replace the supreme leader. This is unfreaking believable. Yup, Linton, I believe it's going to mock the Obama deal. Let's go.
What?
Accommodations, he's talking about accommodations as far as making a deal going. Is that,
I don't know. I can't tell you. Right now, we're negotiating, and we'll see. But either we're going to get it one way or the other. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon. You know, when people hear it, because oftentimes they won't put up the second part of the sentence having to do with, I'll say, this is more important than anything that we have to talk about. And usually they'll cut it off, the fake news. I said, because this is.
He keeps saying the fake news.
The nuclearization of a country that some people would say is somewhat crazy. And we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all it is. We can't let it. You will have a nuclear war in the Middle East, and that war will come here. That war will go to Europe. We cannot let that happen, and it won't happen. It's not going to happen. That's more important than anything else. We can't. I can think of nothing that's more important than the fact that we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon, and we won't. Yeah, Jeff.
Following up on that, sir, Iran is negotiating with Oman to set up a formalization of charging tolls in the Strait of Hormuz.
Now, he asked him about charging tolls in the straits.
Acceptable to you?
Well, we're looking at it. We hear about it. They've negotiated. They've had a relationship with them before, and we'll see. We have total control of the Strait of Hormuz, as you know.
We don't have total control, but okay.
With our blockade, the blockade's been 100% effective. Nobody's been able to get through us like a steel wall. It's our Navy. We have the greatest military anywhere in the world. We wiped out their Navy. We not wiped.
He says this all the time. We wiped out everything. However, we see that that is not true because they are in the process of replenishing their stockpile.
Out their air. I think they're down to about, I would say we knocked out 85% of their missile capacity. It's very hard for them.
Did you guys see what I just showed you guys? You heard it, right? They have taken this time during the ceasefire to rebuild.
Them now to build missiles, to build drones. We have great drone technology, anti-drone technology now that, frankly, we didn't have even 2 months ago. We have unbelievable drone technology, both for making them and also for knocking them down.
And again, who's helping them? Who's helping Iran? Russia. So.
But look, we're going to either make sure they don't have a nuclear weapon, or we're going to have to do something very drastic. And the people of the country, I believe when it's put to the people of our country, they will all agree that we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Yes.
Well, Iran just released their plan for the Strait of Hormuz. They say if you want to traverse the...
Listen up. I told you guys. They got it down pat what they're going to do, and it will be crypto. Let's go.
Strait of Hormuz, and you enter into this zone, the red here, you will have to coordinate directly with the Iranian military. You will also have to pay fees in order to transit, which at face value sounds an awful lot like tolling, which is against international law, against freedom of navigation. And the administration says this isn't going to fly when it comes to a peace deal.
No one in the world is in favor of a tolling system. It can't happen. It would be unacceptable. It would make a diplomatic deal unfeasible.
U.S. President Donald Trump may have just hinted.
Now, we're going to get into Taiwan, okay? We got to get into Taiwan. He put together a weapons package. China asked him to stop giving Taiwan weapons, okay? They also threatened us and said, listen, it can get ugly, okay? I told you guys, Taiwan, without a shadow of a doubt, said our relationship is good, and they believe that we will be there for them. I told you guys, I said he's going to have to talk to them sooner or later and tell them where he stands. Let's talk about it. Let's go.
did something that could really make China furious. A possible phone call with the leader of Taiwan. Asked whether he plans to call President Lai Ching-te before approving a $14 billion weapons package, Trump said this.
I speak to everybody. We'll work on that, the Taiwan problem.
That phrase, Taiwan problem, immediately raised eyebrows in Taipei because Trump praised Xi Jinping, then described democratic Taiwan using language that sounded a lot like Beijing's. Still, if a Trump-like call actually happens, it would be hugely symbolic. Back in 2016, Trump infuriated China after taking a congratulatory phone call from then Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen.
Listen, this right here, it's going to be something. I'm going to watch this closely because if he signs off on that weapon package, China is going to be livid. Let's go.
China's military pressure around Taiwan has been surging ever since. Taiwan President Lai Ching-te responded cautiously about what he'd like to tell Trump if they talk.
台海的和平稳定是世界安全跟繁荣的必要元素。我的政府不卑不亢，维持现状。
So now officials across Asia
And basically, he said that they don't want to be submissive to China at all.
are trying to decode Trump's comments. Was he signaling support for Taiwan or suggesting Taiwan could become part of a much bigger negotiation with Xi Jinping? Right now, nobody seems completely sure.
Israel just bought another U.S. election.
Now we're going to get into Massey because Israel spent millions to get Massey out of office. Okay? Millions. Let's go.
As Representative Thomas Massey, a staunch anti-Zionist candidate, has been ousted from his position in Congress after losing the Republican primary in Kentucky to AIPAC-backed challenger Ed Gallerine. This was the most expensive primary in U.S. history because AIPAC sank $30 million into this.
Did you hear that? $30 million into this campaign. That's how bad they wanted Massey out. And you want to know why? It's two words, Epstein files. Because he went against Trump and he was for those files being released. This is why they went so hard. Let's go. You can't tell me Netanyahu don't have nothing over his head.
Candidate specifically to beat Massey and oust his anti-Zionist policies. Massey served 7 terms in Congress in Kentucky's 4th congressional district. He was untouchable before this election. But because of his anti-Zionist stance, he had to go. Even Israeli media admits that this primary was the most consequential race for Israel in the U.S. because this race was a test of AIPAC control on the Republican Party. And almost taunting him following the loss of the election, AIPAC tweeted this: "Pro-Israel Americans are proud to back a candidate who supports a strong U.S.-Israel alliance. Being pro-Israel is good policy and good..."
We pledge the allegiance to Israel. Let's go.
Politics. Because I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that you sank $30 million into a primary election, the most expensive primary in the history of the country. They paid to get billionaires, cabinet officials, and the president himself to attack one congressman because he wasn't pro-Israel. But
yes, please, can we get the likes up? Can I get at least 20 more likes? Please and thank you. I will be happy with 50 tonight. Please and thank you. Yeah. Yep. You said this is the dumbest and most corrupt president ever. I cannot wait to get into this slush fund. I can't wait. That's up next, y'all.
Massey didn't give in to their taunting tweets. No, instead, he mocked Israel's lobbying influence in his concession speech. When he came out for his concession speech, he said, "I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede."
Listen, he said he's going to continue to work on the Epstein files. He has taken this on the chest, and he still has some time. You know, he's not out just yet.
And it took me a while to find him in Tel Aviv, like bars. And the crazy thing is, it cost them $30 million to win by only...
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, guys. If you have a Rumble account, please and thank you. Follow me. It's a follow. Please follow me on Rumble. It is the great spills the tea. Same type of content. Celebrity gossip along with war updates. Let's go.
10,000 votes. That's how difficult it was for them to unseat this man.
Right. So it was only about 10,000 votes. Only.
$30 million and the president himself to unseat one congressman. He may have lost the race, but this is surely evidence that the tides are changing.
I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way. You know, welcome to the most expensive congressional primary ever in the 250-year history of this country.
Thank you for those that hit the like. Please just get me a couple more likes. Let's go.
It's not just the most expensive. This thing went on longer than Vietnam. It started 9 months ago, and they didn't even have a candidate, and they decided they want to take me out. I want to start by thanking the volunteers who have put so much effort into this. Some of you came from all across the country. Some of you are homegrown. I love all of you.
He was all smiles. He was all smiles. He handled this very well.
All right, hold on.
7 years, that's a long time.
It was acting Attorney General Todd.
Now, y'all ready? We're about to get into this weaponization fund. This is the most corrupt I've ever seen. Let's get into it.
It's his first appearance on Capitol Hill after he took over for.
And right now, he's auditioning for his permanent spot as Attorney General. And now he get to see exactly what Pam Bondi had to go through, okay?
Attorney General Pam Bondi. And just like her past appearances, this one was pretty tense, pretty acrimonious, lots of fireworks. In particular, over this just announced $1.8 billion fund that the Trump.
And this fund, it's not going too well. Congress is, and I said, Democrat and Republicans, they are not happy. They're not.
The administration is setting up to compensate what it says are people who are the victims of past weaponization by the Department of Justice.
You moved to create this fund.
I didn't move. I did not move.
The settlement result, Mr. Attorney General, come on. Simple question. Will individuals who assault.
Listen, one of the officers that was assaulted spoke out today about this, and I did grab that clip. He is highly upset because here's the thing. Those people were prosecuted for breaking the law. These officers are eligible, but they're not going to get a dime.
Did Capitol Hill police officers be eligible for this fund?
Well, as it makes plain, anybody is
just let me know if they're eligible for the fund.
As was made plain yesterday, anybody in this country is eligible to apply.
Remember, this is a settlement of a potential lawsuit that Donald Trump intended to bring against the IRS because his tax.
He was supposed to drop it. Guess what? He made a settlement. He cannot be audited. His family cannot be audited. This is insane.
Tax returns were leaked by a contractor who's now serving 5 years in prison. Most legal experts thought that this lawsuit had no chance of succeeding, and so it's been withdrawn. This fund is so controversial that the top lawyer in the Treasury Department actually resigned after this was announced. Blanche.
He didn't want any parts. He resigned immediately.
Uniformly defended it, although he didn't have many specifics about the commissioners who are going to oversee the distribution of this money and how it's all going to work. Look, Todd Blanche is the acting attorney general. He wants to become the permanent attorney general. Today's performance.
He had a secret meeting with the Republicans. No Democrats was invited to try to change their mind on this fund and to get them to vote on it.
was part of his audition for the job. And from the perspective of Donald Trump in the White House, Blanche did very well. He uniformly defended Trump administration policies, criticized Democrats, and was combative without being angry or insulting to senators.
Todd Blanche, who has not yet become the...
This is what they want to do with our tax dollars. This is crazy.
permanent attorney general, Trump dangling the job as he's used other temp positions to try to get even more from him, has, and I say this as someone who's covered and followed the DOJ for some time, disgraced himself more quickly with more lawless claims and talk than any acting attorney general we've seen in this short a stretch of time. When asked the basic question of whether Mr. Blanche, as acting attorney general, as an attorney, as an American citizen, as someone who could later face ethics sanction or lose.
That part, and we're going to get into that Is it sassafras? We're going to get into that. You said, can't imagine that won't be overturned later on. Listen, it will more than likely, but here's the thing. How will they recover the funds if it is? You know what I'm saying? But we'll get into that. Let's go.
His bar license, whether Mr. Blanche would rule out paying people who attacked police and tried to overthrow the U.S. government and democracy. Well, here's the exchange.
You moved to create this fund.
I didn't move. I did not move.
The settlement result, Mr. Attorney General, come on. Simple question. Will individuals who assaulted Capitol Hill police officers be eligible for this fund?
Well, as it makes plain, anybody is.
And will you commit that none of this money will go to President Trump's campaign donors?
I am not committing to anything.
You're appointing 4 of the 5 members.
I am appointing all 5 members.
Set up.
Is it a coincidence?
Who is okay with this? If you are okay with this slush fund and you're cool with your tax dollars going to this, put a 1 in the chat. If you are not, put a 2. I am not happy with it.
That the General Counsel of the Department of Treasury resigned yesterday?
I don't know if it's a coincidence.
Yeah. Have you looked or checked?
Have I checked?
Yeah.
I've not.
We have some news right now. January 6 defendants and allies of Trump are rushing to try to get big $1 million payouts from this weaponization.
Listen, the Proud Boys is on it. Listen to this. They said they're not going to be greedy about it. Listen, y'all.
Fund before the fund dies. So Enrique Tarrio, the leader of the Proud Boys, says he's not that greedy, but he's going to ask for $2 to $5 million. Mike Lindell, who has parroted many of Trump's claims, he's going to ask for $400 million. Other January 6 defendants say they're going to ask for $30 million. The Tarrio one is the one that stands out to me the most, other than the $400 million Mike Lindell amount. That's kind of crazy. I mean, it is crazy. But the Enrique Tarrio was sentenced 22 years in federal prison for his actions during the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol, which is literally right behind me, right over there. He was let out of prison by Donald Trump. And now he says he doesn't want to be too greedy, but he's going to ask for $2 million to $5 million. And he thinks he's
not going to be greedy. $2 million to $5 million. This is crazy.
Get it. Here's the thing. Weaponization fund is in trouble. But if they start paying out the money, getting that money back is going to be next to impossible. So we'll see what happens. Spread the word. Follow for more.
They should not be rewarded by the government for their attempt to overthrow the government. They tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power. They wanted to assassinate the vice president.
2 officers who defended the Capitol on January 6th are suing the government over this so-called anti-weaponization fund. I spoke to one of them.
They assaulted me and my colleagues. They instilled fear and terror in members of Congress, the staff.
This officer, you see this? You see this picture? They broke the law. They harmed people. They tore up government property. Why should they be rewarded?
Professional staff. There's no reason that the government should be giving these people money.
This is the nearly $1.8 billion taxpayer fund, which acting Attorney General Todd Blanche says will provide payouts to people who believe they're victims of weaponization and lawfare from the previous administration. It was created as part of a settlement of President Trump's lawsuit against the IRS and Treasury Department, accusing the agencies of unlawfully allowing a government contractor to leak his tax returns and those of his sons and his company in 2020. The fund, we're told, told, will be overseen by a 5-member commission appointed by the Attorney General. Government watchdog groups and lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are asking questions. Some are calling it a slush fund. January 6th.
That's exactly what it is, a slush fund. Thank you for those that hit the like. I appreciate you. Please, could I get 9 more? It helps keeps me in the algorithm. Thank you. Thank you. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you like the content, please, please, please subscribe. I will not be over here in the vertical world like I used to, okay? I am now on Rumble. It is The Great Spills the Tea. So if you have a Rumble account, you can also catch me over there. Let's go.
Rioters could likely apply it for money. And here's what Vice President J.D. Vance told reporters about whether that includes those who attacked officers.
We don't in the United States say that everybody who's accused of a crime is...
Listen, he don't speak much, but when he do, oh my goodness, let's go.
Is automatically guilty in a court of public opinion. You've got to actually look at this stuff and figure out what were they accused of. Maybe they did something bad even, but what they were accused of was way worse of what they actually did. Maybe they had their entire lives ruined in a totally disproportionate way. That's fundamentally illegitimate and political.
What would you say to someone who questions the standing for you and former Officer Dunn, the personal stake that you have in this outcome? What is your personal stake?
He's not playing. He got him an attorney. Like, they were getting death threats. Death threats.
Unfortunately, I've been
I'm sorry, guys.
Receiving all sorts of threats since January 6, 2021. And even since we announced the lawsuit today, I've received threats, new ones.
What have people been saying since today, the new threats?
Just that I'm about to be taken out of the game. In the past, there have been references that, they're coming to get me on a pale horse, which is a reference to Revelations and death in the Bible.
This is insane. He was doing his job. What did he do to deserve this? Nothing. Death threats to his family. They're all getting death threats.
The MPD Intel actually contacted me about that one because they were concerned. There've been more explicit threats to my colleagues, actual assaults on their families, bomb threats at events we attend, and giving these people money would just empower them, give them an incredible amount of resources to further carry out these threats. And since they're not afraid of any legal repercussions because Trump has already pardoned them and made it clear.
That part, because Trump has already pardoned them. They're not afraid of any type of nothing legal.
That he has their back no matter what, and they have no ethical qualms about what they do. The only barrier to further violence is resources, which they would have in a great abundance if they were given $1.7 billion.
Hey, everybody. More details keep coming out about Donald Trump's $1.8 billion slush fund. I want to give you a quick rundown of everything.
Now, she's going to give us a rundown on, there's a part 2 in this, okay, that I grabbed. I love the way that she breaks this down.
Everything we know. I'm Liz Oyer, the former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. So this whole scheme was created by an agreement between Donald Trump and his own Justice Department. They call it a settlement agreement, but it's actually just theft. Here's how it works. They are taking nearly $2 billion out of the U.S. Treasury.
And what's so crazy is that Blanche, he could lose his license. He's an attorney. He was Trump's attorney before he, stepped in for Pam Bondi. He could lose his license.
Which holds our tax dollars and transferring it to something called the Anti-Weaponization Fund. The money in that fund will be distributed to victims of lawfare and weaponization. It is not at all clear what those terms mean, but it gives as an example people targeted by the Biden administration for their political beliefs. Anyone who believes they are a victim can make a claim for a
tearing up the Capitol is not a political belief, but let's go.
Cash payment from the fund. Here's how the claims process works. Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general, will appoint 5 people to review claims and make payments. He can appoint whoever he wants. There are no qualification requirements. Those 5 people have total discretion to decide what to do with the money. Our money. They can pay or not pay whoever they choose. The only limit on their power is that the president can remove them if he doesn't like what they're doing. The group.
So let's say, for instance, one of them say, okay, this officer applied. I think he should get it. Trump can easily say denied.
will operate totally in secret. They get to make their own rules, and they do not have to tell the public what the rules are. Their decisions are also secret. They do not have to tell us what they decide. They don't have to disclose who is getting paid, how much they're getting, or why. The decisions of these 5 people are final. There is no appeal process. There is no input from the public. There is no oversight by Congress. There is no judicial review. The only obligation these people have is to make a quarterly report to the Attorney General, and that report is confidential.
This corruption is beyond belief. Beyond belief.
The agreement says that Trump will not receive any money from the fund, but it turns out there is a secret addendum to the agreement, which is actually quite valuable for Trump. It promises that
we don't pay our taxes. They're detaching wages. They're putting liens on property, chasing you down like a thief in the night. But his family gets immunity.
Trump, as well as his companies and his family members, will never again be audited, investigated, or sued by the U.S. government, even after he leaves office. This is the most lawless, most corrupt thing we have seen from this.
Very corrupt. No one should be okay with this. Not even his base, his MAGA base, any Republican. Nobody should be okay with this. Nobody.
This administration or from any presidential administration ever. It is a total betrayal of the interests of the American people. Congress has the power to stop this. It's actually not just a power, it's a duty. Congress has a constitutional duty to block.
And they are moving on it, and we'll get into that.
This illegal action. There are multiple ways they can do it. They can file a lawsuit, or they can legislate, which is the whole reason.
And Blanche, he wants this position so bad, he literally met with Republicans to change their minds.
For their existence. The Constitution gave these people a job to do, and we sent them to Washington to do it. So please call your reps and let them know that we are counting on them to step up. Let them know that if they don't, they are just as responsible as our president.
Everyone should be talking about the fact that Trump did not drop his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS like they said they were going to do earlier this week. Instead, he found a better deal for himself and had his DOJ settle it, not for $10 billion.
I have to say this one more time. This type of corruption it'll go down in history. Again, our kids will be reading about this type of corruption in their history books.
But they did a 1776 weaponization fund, $1.776 billion to pay off his allies or anyone that is friends with him that thinks they were wrongfully investigated by the Biden administration. But what Trump got out of this?
We have people walking around with no food, electricity, no medical. We don't have medical insurance, but you can run and pay your friends who committed crimes money from our tax dollars, mind you.
This was immunity from any tax crimes, past, present, or future. So if he fails to pay taxes due in the future or from years prior, they will remain unpaid and nothing can be done about it. So he is going to gain much more down the line, potentially, in not paying taxes than he would have from a $10 billion payout. This is the ultimate act of corruption, guys. This goes for Trump, his kids, his wife, his entire family, his organization, all of it, immune. So now he's immune from official acts and some unofficial acts. And this thing is so broadly written, it might include more than just taxes. Let me know what you guys think about this. Make sure to spread the word, follow along for more, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
The Justice Department is asserting that as of now, President Trump, his family, and any businesses related to them or trusts do not have to answer any questions.
Again, there are so many Republicans that's against this. And Dems, of course.
That the IRS might have about their taxes, whether they were paid or not.
But at this point, it's not about the left or the right. It's about right and wrong. And this is wrong on all levels. On all levels.
Not in full and how they were paid, and can never again be prosecuted for anything related to that. This is bound to be very controversial for any number of reasons, including questions about the president's past tax returns. This is part of that agreement that the government entered into with President Trump for dropping his $10 billion lawsuit against the federal government because of the leaking of his tax returns during his first term. As part of that agreement, the federal government, the acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, posted in a one-page memo on Tuesday morning that the government, as of now, quote, releases, waives, acquits, and forever discharges each of the plaintiffs, that's Trump, his family, and his company.
How do they get to incorporate their family? His family, how? If his tax returns was the only ones that was leaked.
From, and is hereby forever barred and precluded from prosecuting or pursuing any and all claims, counterclaims, causes of action, appeals for request for any relief, meaning anything that happened in its taxes in the past doesn't matter one way or the other. This is also part of that agreement that had $1.8 billion. Critics are calling it a political slush fund. It is for alleged victims of the weaponization of the Justice Department.
This money is coming from us. We don't get to choose whether or not we don't want to pay our taxes. Like, this is insane.
Which could include rioters on January 6th, including those who vandalized the Capitol, including those who beat up police officers. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche was on Capitol Hill Tuesday, and he answered some questions about this $1.8 billion fund, and he said it will be confidential and anyone can apply. One Republican congressman pointed out that there seems to be an inherent conflict of interest here because Todd Blanche and the federal government are entering into an agreement with and negotiating with the same person that they respond to, President Trump, their boss and the plaintiff.
Total control all the way around the board, sealed.
Their boss now is no longer going to be held accountable for anything having to do with his taxes as of now. And in addition, friends and allies can apply for funds from.
And I truly believe he did this for protection, of course, but I felt more so because he knows once he is out of office, and if the Democrats get in, he will face indictments, investigations, into all of the corrupt things that he has done while sitting as the president. But let's go.
This $1.8 billion fund paid for by your tax dollars.
Donald Trump's weaponization fund, the $1.8 billion to give to allies, and then the agreement to drop all audits against him, his family, and his companies, it can be undone. Let me explain how. I spent the day researching this, both from a legal perspective, remember I'm a lawyer, but also from a journalistic perspective. First, the weaponization fund. This wasn't actually a legal settlement agreement approved by a court, and that's important. It's a private agreement between the DOJ, Trump, and his family and his companies. Here's how that can be undone. First, Congress can undo it, and Republicans.
And this is what they are doing now, right now.
Republicans on Capitol Hill already say they don't like this fund. Second, courts can undo it. Now, the difficult thing there is who has standing to sue? Well, you know who will? If the House of Representatives or the Senate flips blue in November, either would have standing to sue because it would be a misappropriation.
And this is what Seth was talking about in the chat. Later on down the line, if the Dems get in, they can go back. But there's the problem. How would they recruit the money? By then, it will be gone. Let's go.
Of funds under the Constitution. And then third, theoretically, in 2029, if you have a Democratic president and a DOJ, they can easily undo it. But the issue with that is by then, the funds may be spent. So the first two options are likely best. Now that brings me to the audit agreement. The audit agreement is just that, an agreement. It can be declared void by a DOJ in 3 years' time. Now, there may be some statute of limitations issues, but there really are none when it comes to tax fraud as it relates to IRS audits. So this weaponization agreement and this audit agreement, they may stand for now, but they will be in jeopardy in the near future and definitely if Democrats win in
And that part in the near future, I need this to be undone now, not the near future.
2028. Let me know what you think. Spread the word. Follow for more.
The Justice Department has announced a nearly $1.8 billion fund to compensate people who claim that the government weaponized the legal system against them. CBS News has learned that this fund has set off a frenzy at law firms and public relations offices in Washington, D.C., which are seeking to position their clients to potentially reap some of the money. John Eastman, a former attorney for President Trump who was disbarred in California.
He's seeking. This attorney that was disbarred, he wants some of the money.
Told CBS News that he is waiting to see details about it. And though it is not clear what exactly the criteria is for submitting a claim, Eastman is one of a number of allies of the president who believe they were wronged by the government and may apply to the fund, which will be governed by a commission of 5 members appointed by Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche.
He was disbarred for a reason, but okay.
The fund is now drawing legal scrutiny from both Democrats and Republicans in Congress. One Republican lawyer close to the administration, who was granted anonymity to speak freely, told CBS News that they would expect the DOJ's fund to face court challenges. You can read more about this story at cbsnews.com.
Hey, everybody. I did not think it was possible for the slush
Now, this is the part 2 that I was talking about, guys. Let's get into it.
fund situation to get any more corrupt, but it has. I want to share the latest, and I want to ask for your help urgently. I'm Liz Oyer, the former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. So right now, Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general, is...
This is about him meeting with them to try to convince them to change their minds.
Is up on Capitol Hill for a private meeting with Republican senators. Democrats were not invited to this meeting. Blanche is trying to persuade Republicans not to block the $1.8 billion slush fund. Congress clearly has the power to block it, and some Republicans...
I'm hoping that Congress blocks it. Diamond Gang, can I please get 4 more likes? Can you please get me at least to 50 likes? Please and thank you. I appreciate it. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned. Thank you.
Have said that they are considering it. So Blanche is up on the Hill today trying to shore up support among Republican senators. And here's how he's trying to do it. Essentially, he is trying to bribe them. In advance of the meeting, Blanche sent Republican senators this one-page overview of the slush fund.
You hear this? He's trying to bribe them to change. Trump will do anything to win. Anything.
There's a lot of nonsense in here, but there's one really important thing that I want to focus on. It explicitly says that senators are eligible to bring claims under this fund. In fact,
so he's trying to sell them and let them know that, hey, you guys can apply for the slush fund too. The weaponization fund.
It specifically lists senators whose records were secretly subpoenaed as one category of victims who are entitled to financial compensation from this fund. That would include Lindsey Graham, Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, and a number of other senators whose phone records were reviewed by the FBI as part of the January 6th special counsel.
Diamond Gang, what do y'all think? Do you guys think that he will be able to convince them to not block it? I haven't heard anything, and I'm pretty sure when I get off of here, we'll know, but...
investigation. Now, the settlement documents that created the fund do not say anything about payments to members of Congress, but Blanche has decided to cut them in on the deal in exchange for their support. You don't have to connect a lot of dots to read this as a bribe.
This is insane. He's brought this breaking the law again. This administration will go down in history.
Blanche is letting Republicans know that if they allow the slush fund to stand, they will get paid. This is just sickening levels of corruption and collusion. If this moves forward, it would spell the collapse of the constitutional order that our country is built on. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Please spread the word widely, and then please call your senators. Tell them that if they take down this, they be betraying their oath toward this corrupt slush fund is urgent for the survival of our constitutional democracy. Thanks.
We have big news right now. Donald Trump's weaponization fund.
So it's going bad already. Again, I'll say this again. Wait a minute. What you mean, Pam? How about all your fraud? Who's fraud? Who's fraud? How about all your fraud? Who are you talking about? Let's go. It is going bad.
Is already hanging by a thread in Congress as Republicans are not just saying it privately, they're saying it publicly that this weaponization fund is not good and that they're actually going to work to stop it. Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania has already come out, issued a number of questions to the Attorney General and to the DOJ, and is saying that he's going to work to block this 1.8.
And this is what I'm hoping will happen, that Congress will be able to block this fund. I don't even want a dime dispersed.
$1 billion slush fund. Senator Bill Cassidy, who recently lost his re-election bid after Trump campaigned against him, also came out and said Americans are paying too much right now for groceries, for gas. $1.8 billion should go to them, not in this slush fund of sorts. I said yesterday that this fund could be undone in a future administration and theoretically could be stopped by the courts. Well, it also could be stopped by Congress. And there is a very real possibility that Congress doesn't approve this fund to go forward because remember, Congress gives out money, not the executive.
So hopefully, gang, Congress will block this. I hope that they are able to block this because waiting on, whoever gets next in office to do it, by then the money, like how can you trace it or recoup it?
We'll see what happens. Follow for more.
Breaking news as Republicans have fled Washington, D.C. and have abandoned all plans to vote for the immigration bill in an act of defiance against Trump. They wanted it to be a clean, simple bill, just funding immigration.
Listen, they sent them home until June. That's how crazy it got today.
And instead, Trump wanted his slush fund for weaponization included, along with the $1 billion to fund his ballroom. And Republicans are saying no, they're not having anything to do with it, at least not enough of them. And the Democrats are a hard no on this. So this is moving nowhere fast. This was supposed to be a simple vote for a $72 billion fund for Trump's immigration program that he then complicated. And now it's been put on hold until sometime in June.
So this in the ballroom is a no-go. So
the slush fund for weaponization and the funds for the ballroom are on hold, not moving forward right now. This is just another FAFO moment for Trump after he didn't support Bill Cassidy in his bid for
yeah, Bill Cassidy got him. He voted against. Okay, so let's go.
Re-election, and now he's not supporting anything the president is putting forward. Be sure to spread the word, follow along.
So that's a major win because he's a Republican. So
for more, and I'll see you back here for the 411 very soon.
We have breaking news right now. Complete meltdown among Senate Republicans on Capitol Hill. One Senate Republican says, quote, "Our majority is melting down," in a direct quote to Punchbowl News, as senators erupt over Donald Trump's weaponization slush fund. More than
they raised hell. They gave them hell today.
24 senators spoke up and spoke out against this massive $1.8 billion weaponization fund in a private meeting with Todd Blanche, according to Punchbowl. It's gotten so bad, they're going home for Memorial Day. They were going to vote on a reconciliation package that included funding for ICE, for CBP, and for other things. They can't get a hold on their own caucus, so they're sending everyone home until at least June. Trump will not be happy about this right now.
At all, because everything will be on hold. So it is what it is.
There's no consensus within the Senate Republican caucus. The weaponization fund is dying. The ballroom fund already dead.
Now, Diamond Gang, this last part will be about Cuba, and then I'll take some comments.
Just absolute stunning information. Follow for more.
Washington now, and the growing controversy over President Trump's $1.8 billion fund of taxpayer money that could give payouts to political allies who claim they were targeted by the Biden administration. Now a growing number of Republicans on Capitol Hill are raising objections. Here's ABC's
Let's go, Republicans.
Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
Tonight, Senate Republicans in open revolt over President Trump's new taxpayer fund to reward allies who claim they were persecuted by the Biden Justice Department.
Listen, I am so happy that they are finally stepping up and stepping out and saying no more. No more. They're tired of him.
A group that could include the rioters who stormed the Capitol and attacked police officers on January 6th.
These people don't deserve restitution.
That whole incident was a disgrace. Why do they believe that they should get a dime? It's unbelievable.
Many of them deserve to be in prison. This is just stupid on stilts.
Republicans demanding answers or they won't approve more funding for the...
They tired of you, Trump. Your own party. They're tired. Enough is enough.
President's immigration crackdown. Today, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche scrambled to Capitol Hill.
What questions do you have for Todd Blanche about this weaponization?
I just want him to explain it to us. We don't have any details.
Blanche even suggesting in this fact sheet that senators could claim money from the fund themselves. But sources tell us the meeting backfired spectacularly. Some Republican senators screaming at the acting attorney general.
See? This part, I grabbed this right before I came on, so I didn't get to see it. I had no idea that they were screaming at him. So I'm actually watching this in real time with you guys, and good for him.
Saying the president's fund could cost them the midterms. As things went downhill, Senate Republican leader John Thune abruptly canceling the planned immigration vote, sending everyone home for a week.
You'll have a good week, guys.
Republicans were already struggling to justify the president's request for $1 billion in taxpayer money for his ballroom.
And that's on hold. This is ridiculous.
There's no architectural.
What happened to all those private donors he had for this ballroom? So now he wants to use our money, who we can barely afford gas, food, health insurance. Please.
Plans. There is no environmentals. There's no engineering. There's no sense of when we ask, how did it happen to cost exactly $1 billion? I just don't get it.
Trump insists the project is being paid for entirely by private donations, but says he needs $1 billion from Congress for security upgrades.
Did you hear this? For security upgrades. He's talking about even flying drones. Ridiculous BS.
Are you losing control of the Senate Republicans?
I don't know. I really don't know. I can tell you, I only do what's right.
And with the president today also spent time talking about his new triumphal arch to be built near Arlington National Cemetery. Today, a federal panel stacked with Trump appointees approved the plan. Trump was asked if he also needs congressional approval. He said, quote, "No, we don't. We don't need anything from Congress."
All right, Mary.
Now, we don't. He says that up every time we get mad. We didn't need them. We didn't need NATO. We don't need this person. Why you asked?
Mary Bruce at the White House. Thank you.
In a tense meeting on Capitol Hill, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche tried to sell skeptical.
Listen, if he don't change their mind, again, he is auditioning for this job. So if he don't get it done, he gonna be just like his girl, Pam Bondi, fired.
Senate Republicans on the nearly $2 billion anti-weaponization fund. One big question was whether those who were convicted for assaulting law enforcement on January 6th would be compensated. The DOJ has not ruled it out.
What do you want to hear from Todd Blanche?
About the payout pot for punks? Not a lot. Look, under what circumstances would it ever make sense to provide restitution for people who were either pled guilty
that part? Listen up, gang. They not playing with him.
Or were found guilty in a court of law.
Among those found guilty, Enrique Tarrio, who was sentenced to 22 years in prison for.
That's the guy that said, "I'm not going to be too greedy," asking for $2 to $4 million. Get your ass out of here.
Charges related to January 6th, including seditious conspiracy. The former Proud Boys leader received a pardon from President Trump and now says he plans to seek restitution.
For the things that I went through and my family was put through, yeah, I think it might.
This is a grown-ass man who decided to go to Capitol Hill and incite riots and destroy property and to harm law enforcement. What the hell is he talking about? He broke the damn law as a grown-ass man. Make better choices.
Might be in the
He knew he had a family. Make better fucking choices.
tens of millions.
Metropolitan Police Department officer Daniel Hodges, whose head was pinned against a doorframe during the attack, said no one involved should receive money. Hodges has filed a lawsuit to block the fund.
These people, they should not be rewarded by the government for their attempt to overthrow the government. They tried to.
That part, like what part are they're not getting, that they feel that they are entitled to a goddamn dime? He's lucky he's still not sitting behind bars.
Stop the peaceful transfer of power.
Senate Republicans also signaled they wouldn't support $1 billion to enhance security for Trump's White House ballroom. The president was asked if he is losing influence with them.
I don't know. I really don't know. I can tell you, I only do what's right.
Tonight, there's also.
What? He only does what's right. This fund is corrupt.
A bipartisan effort in the House to block that anti-weaponization fund. Republican Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick and Democrat Tom Suozzi introduced a bill that would prohibit federal dollars from being used to pay any claims submitted. Tony.
Weijia, thank you very much.
Hey, this is breaking news.
Now we're going to get into Cuba. They threatened us, okay? You know what? Trump, they're set on it. We're helping Cuba next. And it's going to be sooner than later. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to help them while we are still in the midst of this war.
Cuba is warning of a bloodbath if the United States attacks them. Their president saying the threats of military aggression against Cuba from the world's greatest power are well known. The threat itself already constitutes an international crime. If it were to materialize, it would trigger a bloodbath with incalculable consequences, plus the destructive impact on regional peace and stability.
Should we expect any escalation here, or?
So he doesn't think that it will come to that, but you just heard Cuba threatened us. But let's listen.
Did they expect anything? Yes.
No, there won't be escalation. I don't think there needs to be. Look, the place is falling apart. It's a mess, and they've sort of lost control. They've really lost control of Cuba.
Why is there all of a sudden such an emphasis from the Trump administration on Cuba? Well, Cuba has for a very long time been an adversary of American policy here in the Western Hemisphere. During the Cold War, of course, the communist Cuban regime allied with the Soviet Union and was a platform for various Soviet strategic efforts in the Western Hemisphere, famously including events that led to the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. Since the end of the Cold War, Cuba has remained closely aligned with now Vladimir Putin's Russia and also partners with China on a variety of initiatives and has been.
I wonder if that's going to fracture, or is he going to have conversations with Putin about his plans for Cuba?
Been essentially a thorn in the side of the United States in the hemisphere for some time. But with Vladimir Putin's Russia distracted by the war in Ukraine and the toppling recently of Maduro in Venezuela, leading Venezuela, an important partner of Cuba, to tack more closely to the United States, Cuba is in pretty dire economic and strategic straits.
Listen, there's a warrant out for Castro. He's in his daggone 90s.
Its economy is in shambles, and it is much, much weaker than it was until recently. Indeed, there is a looming humanitarian crisis there as we speak. The Trump administration seems dead set on compelling some sort of regime alteration, perhaps in the style of what happened in Venezuela with the removal of Maduro, but his replacement by Delcy Rodriguez and other regime officials who had once been close to Maduro in his seat. Fidel Castro's brother, Raúl, who remains the senior.
Yeah, the brother, Castro's brother. like this man, when I show you him, he is so old. But let's go.
Presiding political figure in Cuba today, that could be a predicate for a Caracas-style, Maduro-style raid. We don't know that for sure. If something like that were to happen, it would just be one more illustration of the extraordinary ambition and extraordinarily high appetite for risk of Donald Trump and his administration's foreign policy.
Regarding Cuba, there was an aircraft carrier that just arrived there this week, this aircraft carrier. Are you sending that there to intimidate the Cuban government?
No, not at all. The Cuba, look, it's a failed
I believe that we are sending troops over there because, yeah, he's getting ready to invade.
country. Everybody knows it. They don't have electricity. They don't have money. They don't have really anything. They don't have food. And we're going to help them along, and we're going to help them.
We have a lot of people right here in this country without. We do. Help us.
Because number one, I want to help them, on a humanitarian basis, but we have the Cuban American population, much of it living in Miami and Florida. That's a great group of people, amazing group of people, industrious, they're great Americans. They've wanted this to happen. They want to go back to their country. They want to help their country. I hope they're going to stay here, but they want to go back. They want to invest in their country and, see if they can bring it back. Other presidents have looked at this for 50, 60 years.
Here he go comparing other presidents. And here he is, just like Iran, 47 years. And I was the one, that was tough enough and bold enough to do it.
Years doing something, and it looks like I'll be the one that does it. So we'd be happy to do it. We want to open it up to Cuban Americans where they can go back and help.
How do you intend to get Raúl Castro to the United States?
Listen to this. This old man, they want him to let him live out the rest of his life. He is in his 90s.
Well, that was a grand jury in South Florida returned an indictment on Raúl Castro. It had nothing to do with us. It's a grand jury. The evidence is clear. He admits to it. Raúl Castro openly admits and brags about he shot down civilian, gave the order to shoot down civilian airplanes.
And how would you get him here?
Well, I'm not going to talk about how we're going to get him here. If we were trying to get him here, why would I say to the media what our plans are about that? I know you have to ask, but why would I answer that? The bottom line, there's a lot.
They probably don't have a plan, just like Iran, no plan.
At that point, he becomes a fugitive of American justice. And, if there's an announcement, I will tell you afterwards, not before. Okay, a couple more and I got to get on.
Still have conversations with Raúl Castro's grandson, or
Look, we remain. Here's the problem we have. We'll engage with the Cubans. We have. Our ambassadors met with them recently. The CIA director was down there a few weeks ago. There's some State Department communications that occur. I just don't see a lot of. At the end of the day, they got to make a decision. Their system doesn't work, right? Their economic system does not work. It's broken. And you can't fix it with the current political system that's in place. They just don't comprehend how to do it. And it's a failed state.
So, of course, we have to get in the midst of it, in the middle of it.
Like their economy and the model they're trying to follow in Cuba doesn't resemble what anyone is doing anywhere in the world. I mean, there are other ways to do it that can provide the people of Cuba prosperity and opportunity. And it's what I said in the video to them the other day. You look at Cuba, in the Bahamas, in Jamaica, in the Dominican Republic, here in Florida. Cuba's surrounded by places where people have the right to do things like own a business, work for themselves, and be able to vote and for the leaders that govern them and or replace them. So if that's possible all around Cuba, why isn't it possible?
They are gearing up for us. I mean, that is an easy defeat. But I think that we need to sever ties and get this, whatever's going on with Iran, finished and out the way before we dip and step into something else. But who am I?
Why is that not possible inside of Cuba? And right now, there just doesn't seem to be people over there in charge of the regime who are in any way open to any of those changes. And the things they talk about economically are cosmetic in nature. They're not real, because that's what they've gotten used to all these years. It's just buying time and waiting us out. They're not going to be able to wait us out or buy time. We're very serious. We're very focused. As I told you a moment ago, in the context of Iran, the president's preference is always a negotiated agreement that's peaceful. That's always our preference. That remains our preference with Cuba. I'm just being honest with you. The likelihood of that happening, given who we're dealing with.
That part, they already said they're not willingly going to allow it?
Right now is not high, but if they have a change of heart, we're here. And in the meantime, we'll keep doing what we need to do.
We begin with the indictment of Cuba's former president, 94-year-old Raúl.
94. Look at this old man. Goodness, it's over. Just let him go ahead and go on.
Raúl Castro. He's facing federal charges as part of the Trump administration's pressure campaign against Cuba. Now, Castro was indicted Wednesday in connection with the killing of 4 people in the 1996 downing of 2 civilian planes. 3 of them were American citizens. As of now, it's not clear if Castro, like former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, will be brought to the U.S. for trial. The current Cuban president says if there's any military action, it would result in a, quote, bloodbath.
So you hear that? You guys hear that? Let's go.
Trump has talked about a friendly takeover of Cuba, and we're trying to determine what that means. CBS News has learned that military plans were drawn up for the president at his request. U.S. intelligence is trying to game out what Havana would do if it were to be attacked, and noted that they did acquire drones. Secretary of State Rubio said 2 things qualify Cuba as a national security threat. One, its past support for armed groups in countries like Colombia. He said they're a terror sponsor. He also argued America can't tolerate a failed state 90 miles off its shore that's being run by friends of U.S. adversaries. Now, here's what we know. Havana has acquired weapons in years past from China and from Russia.
Bingo. Y'all hear that? China and Russia. Last week, I brought this up and said it was rumored. There you go. So it's no longer a rumor.
Those countries also have spying posts in Cuba. The Trump administration says Russia's largest overseas spying post, its listening post, is in Cuba, and satellite images show it isn't a Cold War holdover. In fact, they've recently been under development. China also has one, which was first revealed during the Biden administration. So the Trump administration has said to Cuba, you got to kick him out. The CIA director recently brought that message to Cuban leadership. And in the meantime, Cuba's leadership says they're not a threat to America. America's top diplomats are continuing to engage on the ground. They are offering, in many ways, help. They are looking at the popular protests in the streets as the energy crisis gets worse. And they're pressing Cuban leaders to voluntarily change the communist system. Do this diplomatically instead of the other option. It isn't clear what President Trump's deadline is for changes, but we're tracking.
Why is it so emotional? Because
now this guy right here literally broke my heart because it's just sad. This made me want to help them, So let's take a listen.
we have been waiting for this moment for 67 years. And no one has paid any attention to the cause of the Cuban exiles. Not the UN, not the Organization of American States, no one, not in Europe, not in Asia. We have been ignored. And as imperfect as this may be, the Trump administration,
this broke my heart. Let's go.
It's the only American administration that has shown real concern about changing the lives of the 11 million Cubans back in the island.
We need to help the Cuban people. It's everything that they're going through right now because of Raúl Castro's dictatorship. I think it's time that I'm happy that Trump is doing something about that situation. And we support it.
All right, guys. So they want the help desperately. Yeah, that breaks my heart. Let me take a couple of comments and then we're going to close out. Let's see. You said, what's up, Tariq? You said Israel is focused on Lebanon. Yeah, they are. Let me take a look. You said 30 million to be precise. 30 million to be precise as far as you said he talked Trump into it, but but Israel stopped attacking when Trump issued the temp. See, no, they didn't. Israel didn't stop. I'm telling you, they did not stop. Every time that I go live, I make sure that I bring a piece over here about what's going on over there. They never stopped. Matter of fact, the ceasefire was supposed to go on for 3 weeks, and Israel requested to end it a week early. They've drawn imaginary lines and made reasons to attack. So, let me take a look. Please, 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 if you are on Rumble, I need you guys to get over there. Follow me on Rumble. Similar content, okay? Celebrity gossip, and I do live streams, war updates. They're not as long as the ones that I do on YouTube, but please get over there. You said, I know that's right, Richard. You said, to analyze the words of an idiot liar is an unwise use of my energy. I get it. Getting tricked out of position. Are you still in the chat? What do you mean by getting tricked out of the position? You said, are you serious? Do you know? Maybe I'm too far up. Let me come down. These are older comments, and they may not be in here anymore. Sorry. Thank you, boo. I'm so happy you on my Rumble. Make sure you come through. Yes, subscribe to the channel. If you like this content, you said it broke in your heart that Miami Cuban want to take control of out of Cuba. No, it broke my heart that they were crying for help. That's what broke my heart. It is bad there. It is. Okay, let me take a look. Oh, what? I didn't know that. I don't know why I didn't know that. Marco was born here, but his family is Cuban. Rubio. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, they still attacking. That's what I said. Somebody said they stopped. Israel never stopped. Never. Ever. They made excuses and drew imaginary lines. So, yes, please like this video. Replay gang, like this video. Again, if you like the content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I used to go live at least 4 times a week to give updates, but now that I am over there on Rumble, I will try to do more updates over here on YouTube twice a week. But if you want daily updates, they're 45 to an hour long live streams. Come on over to my Rumble, okay? I don't care. They're crying out for their family. I don't care if they're in Miami or not. It broke my heart because I'm pretty sure they have family at home in Cuba that's not doing well. So it broke my heart again. But all right, Diamond Gang, we are actually over the 2-hour mark. You said, ask them what was Cuba before Castro. Rich people playground, which causes the uprising. They want that back. They could care less about the Cubans. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I heard what Trump was saying as far as you know, Cuba, and it's a nice place and how the people are and whatever. You said, please, they don't care about the Cubans in Cuba. They just want to control it. Okay. I got it. Okay. If that's how you feel, all opinions here are respected. You just can't be disrespectful. I'll place your, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't know much about it. I'm going to be honest about that. I never really got into it until I just, seen the threat and thought I'd bring it here because that's all Trump is obsessed about, is taking Cuba next. So yes, thank you to everyone that joined this live stream and participated in the chat. But all right, Diamond Gang, it is 1:30 a.m. I gotta get at least 2 hours of sleep. Please subscribe to the channel. Keep your notifications on. And again, Rumble is the great spills the tea as well. So I do the same thing over there. It's just 45 minutes to an hour. And I also do celebrity gossip. Okay? With that being said, listen. That is my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. Listening to that clip, it broke my heart. That's it. That's all. That's my opinion. You can have a different opinion. I read your opinion. I just told you, I don't know what the hell is going on over there. Hearing that man cry for help broke my heart. That's it. That's all. Boy, bye. Good night. Good night. There you go. I didn't make any calls on the government. I didn't say anything. You know what I'm saying? I just said that the man broke my heart. Made me want them, drop the link. I banned him. You're not going to take my opinion away from me either. I let you have yours. Let me have mine. He was start being disrespectful. I read your opinion. What more do you want? What more do you want? Like, get out of here. I felt bad. I do have a heart at the end of the day. I didn't make any opinions based on their government, what's going on, Castro, none of that, because I can't form an opinion on that. Because I don't know about it. And I stated that. That's it. That's all. Right. Same with Greenland and Gaza. That came up too today. That came up today too. But here's the thing. If they're in dire straits like that, I don't give a good goddamn what Trump wants to do. Get them people some help. That's you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to deal with certain things, especially when you down bad. But only people that struggle to know the sacrifices and know what a struggle is would know what that means. Shit, if that's what they want to do, in order for them to get lights and to be able to thrive, then let it be. Let it be. Those people are literally down there in the dark. So, I don't give a good goddamn what they want to do. So if they want to take control of it, it is what it is. Get them people out the damn dark, for starters. So, all right. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. That's it. I mean, humanity, I do have a heart. I feel bad for people. And sometimes, we got to take and deal with certain things, in order to survive. So it is what it is. I'm pretty sure that probably is what they want to do, take control. But right now, them people are in the dark. Anything right now would be, would put them in a better situation. That's all I'm saying. So, but all right, guys, let me get up out of here. Thank you guys for joining the live stream. Shouts out to my mods. I love y'all. Shouts out to my subs. And shouts out to anyone that subscribed to the channel tonight. Welcome and thank you. All right, good night, guys. I gotta go. Until next time, I will see you guys on this side in a couple of days. If you want to find me, I'll be over there on Rumble. All right, guys. Good night.
Mm-hmm. It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea.